Summer holidays come with plenty of opportunities for children to utter that often heard complaint, "I'm bored." Zhenlin Wang is here to unpick whether that's a bad thing and if parents can or should do anything about it. A former early childhood teacher with PhDs in developmental psychology, she's now Associate Professor at Massey University. Kia ora, Zhenlin. Thanks very much for being with us.
Kia ora, Catherine. Thank you for having me.
On that key question, is being bored a bad thing or in fact a good thing?
Well, that's a good question. The answer is yes and no. It is bad because when you are bored, you are disengaged. For example, in school, you are not engaged with your schoolwork. Being bored also increases the chance of lowered self-regulation, maybe even increased chance of risk-taking behaviors like drug use. But at the same time, being bored gives you the time to be creative, to consolidate your learning in the brain, to let your imagination fly. So yeah, it's both good and bad, but it depends on how you deal with it.
I think I should have asked a more specific question. Is it good for kids to be bored on holiday? Because
well, sometimes it's inevitable, isn't it? We
yeah.
cannot hover over them 24/7.
Are there different types of boredom?
Well, yes, research has shown that when people are cognitively disengaged, that's, what we talked about, the negative effect. But when they choose to let go blank with their brain and have space and time to reconsolidate their learning, that's probably another aspect of boredom.
One thing I do like about the idea of a child saying I'm bored is hopefully that means they're not stuck staring at a digital device in that moment. And I guess
Oh
that was
yeah,
my question earlier. Can it be a good thing? Is it a sign that they're not filling every second with stimulus of not necessarily great quality?
Yeah, I listened a little bit of your previous conversation on AI and technology. Yes, we are more dependent on our digital devices now, and they are digital babysitters in a way to take over our children's time. So children are, in a way, you can say, less tolerant of boredom now because there's always this exciting thing happening online. Um, but I think getting away from your devices, especially for young kids during some holidays, is essential. Getting to outdoors, being physically active, being with friends face to face, those are the essential ingredients. Growing up help us build up our social skills, our cognitive and social emotional skills.
So what should a parent's reaction be when those words "I'm bored" are uttered? And let's perhaps put it in the context of where we are now, heading into holidays. So, perhaps homework's on a hold. Presumably it depends on age to a certain extent, but what should the reaction be?
Oh, of course, age is essential here. You as parents, you can arrange activities, summer activities, some summer programs, traveling. But I think the key is to give kids the autonomy to make their own decisions. The sense of agency is really, really important. For younger kids, you can offer a few opportunities or activities for them to choose from. For older kids, teenagers, you can ask themselves to make plan for their summer holiday. The idea is to give them exposure to find their interest, or if they already have a very clear interest, to offer opportunities, access activities, materials that fit with their interests.
So with young children, might you be a little more involved than with older children? Might you, for example, put some opportunities or some ideas in front of them and see where that goes?
Yeah, that's a good idea. But you don't have to, these activities don't have to be very costly for parents. You can engage them in your everyday errands, grocery shopping, cooking a meal. Those are meaningful activities with goals, with visible goals. Children can be involved in that, and they are very good at that once they're familiar with when you give them the chance to practice. And studies shown that children who do chores from early on turn out to be the well-rounded adults later in life. So that's the added benefit of involving them.
Is this a case also where kids watch what you do? And whether you fill up every moment with, let me just pick up the old phone and have a look or scroll through Instagram or whatever. Is it something you can model?
Oh, that's a very good point. Yes, monkey see, monkey do. Children imitate adults' behaviors. So cherish the face-to-face time, cherish the dinner table talk, go outdoors, ride a bike with your kids, spend the time you have during the summer holidays together. When you think about it, starting from around 13, 14 years of age, children's social circles expand. They they don't want to spend time with you anymore to a certain age. So you only have 13, 14 summers with them. So yeah, cherish that time.
Helping them develop this skill, can it sometimes be a case of just do something? It's funny, the boredom can often, especially on holidays, also come with an element of lethargy, right? Or an element of, hopefully healthy laziness. So if you're trying to get them moving on that front, can it be a case of just getting them doing something and, go for a walk, go outside, or the classic go outside and play, just to get them doing something which may lead to something else and then something else?
Yes, that's a great idea. You don't have to, um, you know, plan the day, the week, the month, up to the minutes. But summer is a great time for relaxing, but set up a routine. For example, we go out for 1 hour after dinner, or the daytime is long now, every day. That will, build up that habit, set up a routine, get kids moving.
How do you handle the question of screen use, and particularly where there is a lot of unscheduled time like a holiday? Do you
Mm.
stick to some of the rules that you may have instituted with your young person during the year? Do you give them a little bit more leniency? What?
I really encourage my child to make their own decisions in terms of screen use with guidance. The idea is that goes back to the agency idea that you cannot force them to do things. So I teach my child from very early on that the device is interesting. You learn a lot of new things that you cannot learn in school or from us, from the internet. However, there are more important things in life, such as spending time with families, spending time with friends, outdoor activities, physical activities. So you need to balance your time. So we build up this habit that whenever you spend time online for a little while, you need to put that down and rest your eyes and be physically active. Um, they understand now that it is a balanced act. The device is very, very attractive. And at a certain age, because their social circles expand, they connect with friends. Yeah, going back to the Australian span on that. So that's important social communication tool, the internet. So I'm not on the against camp of kids using that. I'm more on giving them the skills, the knowledge to be self-regulated, to know when to stop, when to take a pause.
How do you do that, if you could explain in a couple of minutes or less? What are those? What's the process?
Isn't that the question of the decade now? Yeah, it is a challenge, I admit. I'm not saying that I'm doing that perfectly well. But we do have a routine that, okay, at 1 hour outdoors every day, and reflect on your device use at the dinner table. What did you do today? With whom? And we do review things we learned on the internet and critically evaluate those things. There are some beneficial things, and there are some things that are on the on the edge or kind of risky, and we evaluate those and talk about how to deal with those things.
Do you need to learn how to cope with boredom? And is that another skill you can help your children with? And I'm thinking about a different example here. Not, I'm bored, give me something to do. But we're stuck in the ferry terminal, or we're stuck in the car, or the flight is 2 hours late or whatever. And is that actually a skill, a muscle to be developed? You're not somewhere you want to be. There's nothing you can do about it. So what's the way of dealing with it?
That's a great question. I never thought of that as a muscle that you can build on. Um, what I do is I do plan for what's coming up. For example, if there's a trip, I will be stuck in the airport. I always have a book on hand, where I buy a book at the airport. Um, and actually, daydreaming is not a very bad thing. Like we said earlier, our brain consolidates learning and memories when we are doing nothing or when we are asleep, like the REM sleep cycles. So, just sometimes daydreaming or people watching, our inspirations, aha moments, ideas come to us when, our brains are blank, when we're doing nothing. You must have that experience. You work on the problem for extended period of time, you go out, take a walk, doing nothing, suddenly you have a solution. So I'm not against of being bored, being doing daydreaming for a while.
And the daydreaming can be somewhat directed. It doesn't just have to be, sort of staring out the window. It's something you can direct. You can let your internal mode go travelling. And perhaps that's something, again, that's a little harder to do or to learn when we schedule kids so much these days. And then second, when they've got that go-to device, as do we all. Thanks very much, Zhenlin. And, is it okay to say, go outside and play? Are you fine with? Are you fine with
Of course, of course. Thank you, Catherine, for having
that?
me.
Wonderful. That is Zhenlin Wang, who is Associate Professor at Mass University. Some of your feedback. This is a goodie. The few times my children have come up to me to say they're bored, I've given them jobs to do. Now they know that it's better to come up with ideas for activities by themselves. And this has got a point too. I'm bored. Great. You are open to a new activity. I bet that gets a face pull.